Hey guys, welcome back to Wheelin' with Wally. Today I'm going to be changing the gear oil in my differential. This is kind of a good cheap insurance. I do it fairly often because I get in a lot of mud and water crossings and things can get into the end of the axle tubes, so it's just a good thing to stay on top of. I just buy big bottles of cheap gear oil. I've got the Master Pro SE 80W90 gear oil. I go through a lot of it and I change it pretty often, so I don't need anything high quality. One other thing to note before we start is if you have Dana 44s, those have built-in drain plugs. However, if you have like a Dana 30 or a Dana 35 on your Jeep, they do not have built-in drain plugs. So if you have the stock diff covers, you'll have to totally remove the diff covers to drain the fluid out. And then you'll have to reseal around it when you put it back on. You can buy aftermarket diff covers that have drain plugs added into them, which I kind of recommend anyway if you're going to be doing off-roading, but it also just makes it a lot easier to change the fluid. So without further ado, let's dive in. So one thing you're going to want when you do this is something to catch the fluid when it drains out. And then I have a Dana 44, so I have the drain plug. The drain plug is right here, and it just uses a 3/8 inch drive to take off. So I've just got my 3/8 inch ratchet with an extension on it. Ooh. The ends of these plugs often have magnets on them, and it catches metal shavings and flakes, so you always want to kind of clean that off. So that's draining out of the drain plug. If you had to remove your cover, it's nice to leave a couple on the top and take all of them out, and then kind of use like a flathead screwdriver and gently pry it apart, and it'll kind of crack open and dump, and then if you leave a couple of bolts in there, it won't fall right off, which is nice. If you take your cover off too, you're also going to need gasket sealer that's made for gear oil. It's a special gasket sealer, and then you're going to have to reseal and bolt it back on before you fill it. So now it's time to pull the fill plug off. Same thing, except I'm taking the extension off and just using the drive on the ratchet. Now that the fill plug's out, I don't know if you can see, but I don't have a whole lot of room to really get a bottle in here and squeeze it in, which is the easiest way, which is how I did the front because I had more room. But back here, I'll probably have to use a pump, and you can buy them for about $10 at any auto parts store. They're just like little mechanical pumps that screw onto the top of the bottle and then move the fluid for you. So here's one of the smaller bottles you can buy it in, and you just cut the tip off and you can kind of squeeze them and dump them in. I'll try this first, but I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of luck. Okay, so I typically use the bigger bottle and just refill these smaller ones. I don't even buy the smaller ones anymore. I just had one left over that I've been reusing for a while now. So I'm going to use this a few times and just kind of squeeze in as much as I can. The only thing I don't like about using my little pump I have is it takes a while, and then it holds a lot of the oil in the hose for the pump, and I don't know, it's a little messy. So I'm going to top this off again. I'm using just over half of it when I'm doing this, so I'll probably just do it all this way. And if you're curious to know when you've added enough of the gear oil, just when it starts to spill out of the fill hole, that's how you know. And there we go. So I squirted a little extra in there for some dramatic effect so you guys could see when it's full, it's kind of pouring back out. So the next step would be to put the fill plug back in, and that's pretty much it. like I said earlier, if you had to take the cover off, you're going to need the gasket sealer made for gear oil, and then you'd have to put a ring all around the cover on the inside and then bolt it back down. I think you're supposed to wait like a day before you fill it. I never did, and it worked fine, but you know, read the instructions and do what you want. So that's pretty much all there is to changing the gear oil in your differential. It's pretty simple. If you guys need any other help, I have a ton of Jeep TJ videos and do-it-yourself videos on my channel, so go check them out.